Things that you can do to stop overspending $850 this month. The number one is going to be raising your awareness. Now, what I've found is that a lot of the times we don't even know where our money is going. We feel like we have so much money coming in and we don't know where it's going. There's like a hole in our bucket and it just disappears. We don't even know what happens. And there are a lot of resources out there for you to track your money, to go on a budget, to do all of these hardcore things, stuff some cash in an envelope and only use that cash. And there's just a lot of stuff out there. There's a lot of clutter. There's a lot of chatter. What we actually want to do, it's way more simple than that. You don't have to do all of these fancy things. You don't have to use a fancy app. All you need to know is how much money comes in. So what your income is, all of your streams of revenue, of income, wherever you get money from, you want to track it. You want to write it down on a piece of paper, on your phone, wherever it is that you can see it and you can write it. Then you want to track how much money is going out. So how much money do you need for your bills? How much money goes out for fun things? How much money goes out for eating out, for groceries, for childcare, for shopping, all of these things. And now I don't want you to get in the mindset that you have to cut all of this out. All we're going to do is raise our awareness. All we want to do is know how much money comes in and how much money goes out. Now, pro tip number one is to come at this with the perspective of curiosity. I don't want you to be making yourself feel bad about this. I want you to have a safe space to think about what you really want out of life, where you want to go, what you want your money to go towards, and that sort of thing, so that you can get there without having to feel bad about yourself. So that is tip number one. Raise your awareness. How much money comes in, how much money goes out. How much of that money that goes out do you need? So this would be for bills, for expenses that you incur each and every month that you just absolutely can't get rid of. Shelter, food, childcare, and that sort of thing. So really thinking about how much of that money you actually need to be spending. And then once you have those numbers, you're just going to write it down. So we're just kind of getting a feel for how much money comes in and how much money goes out. That is raising our awareness. Number two, look at your bills and subscriptions. I know that there's a subscription out there for each and everything. There's memberships, there's bills that we might have that we don't need to necessarily have. So again, just distilling it down to what do you need? There are so many subscriptions out there. Like, I could just go off on a tangent about this. There's so many streaming services, and for movies, for music, for TV, there's a lot of stuff out there. So what do you need? What is important to you? You don't have to cut it all out. Absolutely do not cut everything out. I just want you to think about, what are you going to use? What are you going to need? There are subscriptions out there for parents, for their kids, for learning. And a lot of the times we sign on for these subscriptions and we don't even use them. And if you have a subscription and you use it, absolutely keep it and use the heck out of it, and just really get your money's worth out of it. I want you to do that. I want you to enjoy yourself. Because we're only here once and we have to enjoy ourselves a little bit along the way. So if we think about how much all of your subscriptions add up to, then we can think about, is there an other alternative out there that we could use, maybe that costs less? Maybe there's a couple that you can cut out because they overlap. Maybe there's a bundle out there. I know you can bundle Disney Plus with ESPN, with Hulu. I think those all can go together and they're cheaper than if you get each service provider separately. Maybe you could pay in full for a whole year of streaming. That's what we do with Disney Plus. We pay for a year at a time and we end up saving $30 over the course of the year, which isn't a lot, but every single year that adds up, and that's money that we can be putting towards our kids' college funds and saving for them. So little things add up. I just believe me on that. The other thing that you can do is you can negotiate with your service providers. And this is something that I think we've really lost the knowledge of how to do, and that we can actually do it. Like, when you buy a car, you don't necessarily have to pay full price for the car. You can negotiate the price. You can negotiate with your bills. I do this with my internet provider every 2 years. They always say, I lock in a certain price for 2 years, and then 2 years later, they want to charge me an extra $15 each month. And I call them and I say, hey, the price is going up too much. This isn't going to work for me. And they say, oh, okay, well, what can we work with? What do you need? And then they go over their options, and I actually negotiate with them and get my bill prices dropped. You can do this with your cell phone, with your internet. You can do this a lot of the times with your utility providers. Sometimes they have different categories of what you're paying for. And if you're not using the full range of the services that they provide, absolutely drop down to one that you need. We've gotten rid of, on our cell phones, we don't use our hotspots. So we dropped that and ended up saving $20 a month because of it. And these are little things. So $30 here and $20 here and $10 here. It doesn't sound like a lot, but let me tell you, it adds up, and it adds up fast. When you have, 10, 20, 30 different subscriptions and bills that you use and pay for every month, you multiply each one of those by $10, that's $200 to $300 right there that you can save. And it's worth a phone call. I am an introvert. I have social anxiety. I get that it's scary to make the phone call, but I promise you that it is worth it, and you will feel so much better when you get your bill each month thereafter and it is cheaper and you're like, I made that happen. That is all on me. I did this. I got us the best price. It's something that you can just use to feel good about yourself. I love it. And I don't like really talking to people on the phone. So the last thing that you can do, for the 3 things you can do to stop overspending $850 each month, is to automate your savings. Now, this doesn't have to be, setting up an auto distribution. You don't have to be, transferring things automatically. You can just be pulling money out of an ATM and setting it under your pillow. You can be, it can stay in your bank account, but you just know that's how much money goes towards your savings each month. Now, how can you get to the point of being able to automate your savings? Because what happens if I'm automatically setting money aside each month, and then one month all of my bills come in and I end up needing to dip into that? So this is what I want you to think about. These 3 steps we're going to do in order. So first you raise your awareness, and then you negotiate your bills and subscriptions down. And then you look at your expenses and your income. You figure out how much money you have, and you know how much money you need each month. So what's left over? From what's left over, how much do you need to accomplish each one of your financial goals every month or every year or every paycheck, whatever it is? Now what you're going to do is you're going to set that money aside from each month, each paycheck, each week. You're just going to set that money aside. Now, I don't care how you do this. I don't care if you draw the money out of an ATM and put it in a cash envelope. I don't care if you set up a $150 automatic transfer into a savings account that you have no access to, you can't touch until you go to the bank and withdraw the money for your trip or for your retirement or whatever it is that you're saving for. I don't care how you set up the automatic savings. I just want you to know I automatically put $250 aside into savings each and every month. And then you can see, because we've raised our awareness, we can see that, okay, $250 of my income, that's automatically going into my savings. So that money, I can't touch it. And telling yourself that you have this money, you're able to set it aside. You already know that this is something that you can do. It makes it so much less attractive to go and spend $250 at Target, because that was your trip money, or that was the money that you're putting towards buying your new car or your child's education. And when you give your savings an actual purpose, you are so much more likely to keep that money saved. So to recap, this is going to help you keep the money from disappearing and make you feel like you don't just have extra cash burning a hole in your wallet. Or if you have $250 left over at the end of the month, you know that $200 is what I set aside for my goals. That's not money that I can go and spend at Target. This is what I've used for myself, by the way. I love Target. So to recap, I'm going to go over each one of these 3 steps again, and I'll tell you about how much you can save by doing each of these. So number 1, raise your awareness. Know how much money comes in, how much money goes out, and how much money you actually need. This is going to save you on average about $350 each month. When you know how much you need You can distill it down and be more intentional with your spending. Number 2, negotiate with your bills and subscriptions. Get rid of the ones you don't use. Consolidate the ones that overlap and negotiate with your bill service providers to get a lower price, a more affordable price for something that you will use. This on average is going to save you $250 per month. And number 3, automate your savings. Get money set aside and leave it set aside. On average, the average person can do about $250 this way. So if we add all of these up, this is $850 that you can be saving this month, each and every month from this moment going forwards. How awesome is that? You just found $850 that you can automatically be putting towards your financial goals. I am so excited for you. Now, I realize that this is not possible for every person watching this. If you want a more customized approach, or if you want to be able to save this $850, $1,000, $500, $5,000, whatever it is that you want to find each and every month, contact me. Drop your email below. I'm going to drop a link below that you can go to apply for a free consultation with me. This will be a 15-minute call. It's not going to take a lot of time. We're going to talk really, really quick. I will give you my 3 best tips that you can use to go out and find $850 each and every month. And you will have that, and you can take that and go forward. It is free. There's no obligation, no strings attached.